Titans issue 5, legacy number 129. Tom Taylor writing with Nicholas Scott on the art. So this obviously had the big cliffhanger last time was Tempest infected Linda with the body snatcher parasite thing, and it seemed like, oh, so now they've isolated Wally and Linda on this base on Mars, but she's actually the danger now. She's the one who might kill him. It didn't play out exactly like I thought it would. I'll say that much. Yeah, it went in a different direction. It sort of basically did this thing where Dick had figured out that she was probably going to go infected with whatever it was. He'd kind of put this together. So he took them there kind of intentionally, and I think what I wasn't expecting is that I thought Linda was going to try and infect Wally. Instead, they're looking around this room and they've got all these dangerous artifacts from all the various villains, and one of them is just this bomb. And Linda goes up and tries to set off the bomb by pressing it, and Dick's like, well, we obviously decommissioned it all so that it was safe. We're not idiots. So we get a whole scene here where the parasite flies out of Linda's mouth towards Wally, and Dick's.
I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty cool.
It was a really fun little moment. It definitely. I thought it was going to be like an issue where we're going to be tense the whole time because Linda keeps trying to be alone with Wally, and it's going to be when is she going to strike. I was not expecting her try to just blow up the place within the first 2 pages of their scenes, but it definitely was an entertaining payoff though. So, you know.
And I do love that Wally being like, how would you put that together? And Dick being like, look, this is the only thing it could have been because of the lives that we lead, right?
It had to be someone close to you. Tempest has been acting out a character, so obviously they've got a better idea there. Meanwhile, Beast Boy and the others are in Borneo, and they're dealing with the grunts, and they say, hey, we need to like solve this all this deforestation. It's not going to work. We need some help. And Raven's like, I've got an idea. And much to my surprise, they go to Levi, Swamp Thing, from Ram V Swamp Thing, and enlist his help and say, hey, we need to reforest the place. And he comes with them, and he notes that when Starfire touches his arm, flowers blossom, and they set up that her energy is actually sunlight, basically.
Yeah, it's ultraviolet.
Yeah. So they take Swamp Thing back, and like between him using his green connection, Starfire's sunlight, and then even is it Raven who creates some wind with a portal to build a whole climate, basically to repopulate the forest. Lots of fun stuff there. I really like them all working together, and there's 2 key things I want to take away from this. One is that Swamp Thing's asked to join the Titans, even if it's on a part-time basis, because having someone who's connected to the green is going to be helpful, and he's also mega powerful, so it would help.
Well, there's that, and he's got a connection to the planet, so it's like, why wouldn't we want a representative for Earth? The Earth itself, which makes a lot. And just the art here with Nicola Scott, just you get the vibe that Levi's been so lonely, right? That's one thing, that him being asked to join a team just makes his entire year, because the smile on the Swamp Thing's face it really goes.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. I think it's when Dick and Wally and that have joined them where they officially invite him, and he smiles and says, I'd really like that. The other thing here, though, I thought was quite interesting, because we were questioning this, I think, last issue, was Beast Boy turning into lots of little animals instead of one.
Swarms,
Yeah, and I still think there's a problem with this, and because we said, is it just about he can create the same amount that would amount to his mass? But the problem with that is that he turns into bigger animals than him all the time. He'll turn into a rhinoceros or a gorilla, and he'll get bigger in size. So the question then becomes, then why can't he become 1,000,000 bees instead of just however many happens to roughly fit the size of his body? But with that complaint aside, the interesting little thing here they put in is that Raven talks about how when Beast Boy turns into all these little creatures, which he does here to try and help the environment
ecosystem,
sometimes one of them will die because something will step on it or something, and when that happens, it's like Beast Boy's losing a small part of himself. And I do think this is setting up the Beast World stuff, where maybe
me too.
The reason why he's going to perhaps be angry or out of character or whatever is because he's losing little bits of himself every time this happens. And we see a big cat like seemingly crush one of the bees or whatever. So it's like, oh, a little bit of Beast Boy just died. He's literally given himself a little bit of himself up every time he does that to help try and save the world, which is very admirable. But it's like, okay, this is setting up some consequences, and I like that.
Yep.
So
because I do like that they addressed it, right? That Tom Taylor was just like, oh yeah, no, there's a reason that we've never seen him do this till now, and it also shows how desperate Gar is at wanting to save the Earth.
I do have some questions though about the limits of like how many you can make.
Yeah.
But like that's maybe something they'll get to. Maybe they won't. Maybe it's something we'll just sort of leave.
Well, judging from what I've read in the solicits of the Beast World stuff, it almost feels like that's he's been stretched to his limits, and that's what causes this. So yeah, we will see. It does seem like there's a plan for all of this.
Yeah, which is good. It feels like it's building to something. Yeah. And arguably, this was out of the two Tom Taylor books, this was the one that was maybe the better build to what we're going to. Which, we get to the ending, and it's Brother Eternity with Tempest, and he's like, Wally's supposed to be dead. Why is he not dead? This is supposed to be over by now. And the big reveal at the end, because he's like, oh, we have to launch, but we're like our, what does he call his leader?
What do you mean?
The new ruler.
I don't have it open in front of me.
Yeah, he says, we have to make the planet more hospitable for its new ruler. So they're prepping the planet for whoever's going to be in charge next.
Yeah.
And the final page reveal with Brother Eternity's eyes, and he wipes off some of his makeup. We didn't realize he was wearing makeup, of course.
No.
But he's wiping off some makeup, and it looks like he's Tamaranian. Based on this final page.
Because we saw that the meteor had some Tamaranian origin. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Big week for Tamaranians.
It is a big week for Tamaranians. Yeah, two books have some Tamaranian stuff going on. And also here he says it's time for the human race to end. So yeah, we're building up to something apocalyptic, and it says next Titans Beast World. So it seems like like this is going to be the main villain of Beast World, which is cool. If not him, then whoever he's working for, certainly. Yeah. So. No, I thought this was really effective. It says Out of the Shadows finale, which doesn't feel like a finale. This feels like the prologue to what the event is, which is fine. But I do wonder though if they'll. I mean, what issue was this? This was issue 5. I do wonder if they'll collect it with the main Beast World story, but probably not, because 5's enough for a trade. Yeah. So they can say it's the prologue to Beast World. Might even call it that.
It wouldn't also surprise me if this has the Nightwing stuff in it too. That kind of set up the Titans book. If they're going to do a trade. Oh,
sure, yeah. That was a whole arc, though, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was like 2 or 3 issues.
Maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe it was just 1 or 2 issues that set up this, but because they were in a whole arc with Nightwing, though.
Yeah.
Before that, so I don't know how they'll split it up, but anyway, we're getting ready for Titans Beast World, though. It's nice to actually be interested in an event, if you want to call it that. When in reality, I mean, it's got its own book, and it'll be that and the Titans book, and there's a few tie-in one-shots, so I guess it is an event, but it doesn't feel like it's spanning all of the other books, which is nice. It's its own kind of corner, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I thought this was a fun setup. It was a fun reveal. It did take me a second to realize what the reveal was, though. It was clear that it was revealing something to me, but I had to really look at him and think about what it was doing.
Yeah. Well, because I had to go back and double check because he didn't have a pupil now. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's Tamaranian now. Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
It was that sort of thing where I wasn't sure if it was makeup coming off at first. I thought it was like just a light was hitting his face, because sometimes that's how comic art looks.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh, no, he's actually wiping off makeup. This is okay.
I was like, dang, he's really tanned. And then they're like, oh no, he's Tamaranian.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Which is nice, because we keep thinking about how Beast World's obviously going to be Beast Boy focused, but the reveal that the villain is Tamaranian means that Starfire is probably going to get a fair bit of development in this as well, I would assume.
It definitely feels like it's much more of a Titans thing than just Beast Boy.
For sure, yeah.
And that's good.
Plus, they reaffirmed here that Raven's close to Beast Boy and is concerned about him, so that's going to be something that will play into everything as well, I'm sure. So no, really good. And the idea that we're trying to take out Wally, because Wally's arguably the biggest threat of the team, to anyone because he's his powers are easily more powerful than everyone else. Like even Starfire, who's obviously very powerful, Wally's super speed is hard to overcome for just about anyone. So interesting. Plus, at least Starfire, if they're also Tamaranian, they can fight fire with her as far as it's concerned. So very, very good issue. I think the art from Nicholas Scott, as per usual, is very, very good. Sometimes some of her smaller panels can be a little lacking in detail. There's some panels where she'll have to do a lot of characters in like a small box, and relative to others, they have to be relatively light on detail. But then you get that full page where, like, when Dick and Wally show up and Starfire's in the sky above them, and it's that full page spread of the sun shining. And I say it's actually Starfire that's shining, but it looks like the sun. And you got the life, all the plant life coming up from the bottom. It just looks very pretty. It's pages like that where Nicholas Scott's art really excels, I think. Although my favorite panel in the book is probably the parasite coming out of Linda's mouth towards Wally. I think that is I think she looks very lifelike, Linda, in that panel with the shading on her face, but then just the grossness of the parasite is just
coming
perfect.
like being ejected out of her.
Yeah, it's like she's just she's projectile vomited this like furry looking parasite at him. Luckily Wally's got super speed though, so he just whooshes out of the out of the way, and then Dick
also the trait too is like the effect of him moving.
That entire page is just fantastic. It's really good stuff. So very good. There you go. That's Titans. Building up to Beast World very nicely. Enjoyed it quite a bit. I also liked the art on Linda looking very upset that she tried to kill her husband in the next page. I thought that was handled quite well too. So what are you giving the Titans?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
I'll just go straight 8. I think it's a really solid book. Really enjoying the build to Beast World. I think it's done good things to set up both. I think the reveal at the end's good. I think the continuing character development with Raven and Beast Boy are doing a good job laying the groundwork for the story we're getting. But it does feel like a prologue. It feels like a prologue to the real story which is about to start, which is fine, but it very much is that.